backbone of many Splatoon teams is tacticooler, a special that gives you insane ability buffs and near instant respawns after dying. So naturally, the weapon that you pick to supply your team with cooler is an important one, and the allure of a backline with good paint and surprisingly strong fighting ability based on a writing instrument is impossible to ignore. You were thinking of 𝗦𝘂𝗫𝗀𝗃𝗀𝘀, right? Right? With Nintendo taking steps to tone back the dominance of some weapons, why hasn't 𝗦𝘂𝗫𝗀𝗀𝗀 risen up to be a common tacticooler weapon despite being just about as strong as it was at launch? What's competing with it? And why don't we see it used more often by the strongest players? Hi, I'm 𝗦𝘂𝗫𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗀, a competitive Splatoon player specializing in backline weapons. Maining 𝗦𝘂𝗫𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗀 myself, and formerly its greatest competition in Snipewriter, I more than most want to see it succeed at the highest level. And if you'd like to see more videos like this one, be sure to like and subscribe. I'm working to find my footing as a competitive Splatoon content creator, and your support helps motivate me to keep streaming and making videos. Thanks! Despite some insanely overtuned attributes and good tacticooler output, 𝗦𝘂𝗫𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗀 is often overlooked for Snipewriter. Tune into almost any top-level tournament, and most games will have a pencil on both sides. And for good reason. Snipewriter is incredible in its own right. Consistent chip damage from halfway across the map to help teammates secure kills. And pencil refuses to give up its reign, as despite multiple nerfs to both special output and paint, it's dominant both as a cooler option and backline weapon in general. How could 𝗦𝘂𝗫𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗀 possibly compete with that? On the surface, 𝗦𝘂𝗫𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗀𝗀 seems clunky and to lack range. 2 seconds to fully charge, and every charger, even Squiffer, outranges it? But despite some polarizing weaknesses, 𝗦𝘂𝗫𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗀𝗀 has crazy strengths that more than compensate. You get respectable paint and unparalleled uptime, 5 full charges on an ink tank. With the devs building off Mini Splatling's attributes, it ties for the fastest run speed amongst Splatlings, and even has full height jumps when charging. And its greatest strength comes from having nearly the highest damage per second in the game. That full 2-second charge is worth going for, letting 𝗦𝘂𝗫𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗀 fire a shot every 3 frames instead of 4. This drastically increases paint and damage, to the point that you shred almost anything in your path. Don't have time for that full charge? That's fine. A partial charge is a quick option to punish somebody rushing you down. Anyways, so your team needs to pick a cooler option. Why pick 𝗦𝘂𝗫𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗀 over Snipewriter? Trick question, just use both. Many players will focus on pencil, only swapping to 𝗦𝘂𝗫𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗀 for certain maps and modes where it's stronger.
Well, I wondered first of all, is it going to be a battle of the 𝗦𝘂𝗫𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗀𝗀 Splatlings on both sides? This is not something that Basil typically brings out, but
for a while, these two had an effective duopoly on cooler weapons, as people prioritized having the backline be the cooler player. But after some paint nerfs to both and shifts in the meta, 𝗦𝘂𝗫𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗀 found itself with new competition. Pencil stayed by far the most popular cooler option, despite further attempts to tone it back, and more weapons found themselves vying for 𝗦𝘂𝗫𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗀's spot. The time invested by players into Snipewriter meant that they kept getting better at using it to fight, and those skills transferred very well as some decided to pick up 𝗬𝗎𝗎𝗄 instead. Swap your support player for an 𝗦𝘂𝗫𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗀𝗃, and now your team still has a charger and access to tacticooler. Bad map like 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 for pencil? Just pick Dapple Dualies, and now your team has beacons. Rapid Pro Winter's a new option with a drop of third kits, sacrificing cooler output for better fighting. And 𝗦𝘂𝗫𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗀𝗃 not only struggles to fight pencil, but leader and rapid too. Even Splatling enthusiasts found themselves swapping after Mini Splatling was thrust into the spotlight following buffs to it and Ultra Stamp. Mini Splatling had already been an excellent weapon before, with Zinc Mini offering your team a big bubbler, stellar paint, and great fighting for a more supportive weapon. With patch 9.3 back in March, suddenly Mini not only charges a bit faster, but has an insanely cheap 190p Ultra Stamp. It's now much better at killing when thrown. Getting near double-digit Ultra Stamps a game meant that you had another Mini Splatling more focused on fighting.
Oh my god, the 3K?
3K? 3.3? Yo, nah.
𝗦𝘂𝗫𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗀𝗃 already played an understudy role to pencil with few dedicated to the weapon, and meta shifts left it with more competition than ever, more cooler options, and even another Splatling to swap to instead. But the attributes that make 𝗦𝘂𝗫𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗀 strong never changed. It just lost some people mostly playing it as a secondary. It's never had many dedicated to pushing it, and its true potential comes out when it isn't somebody's backup pick. The weapons 𝗦𝘂𝗫𝗀𝗃 wants to play with don't exactly resemble Snipewriter. It isn't a drag and drop replacement. You want a teammate with more range to help address your weakness into backlines. Opt for a Stamper or 𝗦𝘂𝘂𝗀𝘃, and now 𝗦𝗏 can play further up without being bullied as much. Splash or 𝗬𝗲𝘂𝘁 can pop a Crab Tank for long-range pressure at the right moments too. I've been referring to 𝗦𝗏 as a quote-unquote backline, but it's really quite versatile. It typically takes up that backline slot in a team, but 𝗦𝗏 can pair really well with other quote-unquote backlines like Wolfstring or Rapid Pro, and help compensate for their weaknesses to being rushed down. Want a shorter range comp to help run down the enemy yourself? 𝗦𝗏's painting pattern lets you better cover the sides of the map and help your team get in. Playing with 𝗦𝗏𝗏? Your chip damage can help recycle or 𝗦𝗏𝗏𝗀 combo, or follow behind a launched 𝗦𝗏𝗏𝗏 shield to help mow down opponents. It may not have quite the flexibility with weapon compositions, but it offers unique combinations and lets your team play quite a bit faster. With recent buffs to Booyah Bomb, Big Bubbler, and Ultra Stamp, they're commonplace and require answers. 𝗦𝗏's great into all of them. Your insane damage per second melts both Booyah Bomb armor and Bubbler, while Snipewriter struggles into them. Ultra Stamp's somewhat vulnerable front means it gets deleted by 𝗦𝗏's barrage of bullets, and even an up-close Crab Tank needs to be wary of being shredded. Midlanes who typically run these specials even struggle into 𝗦𝗏 too. Splatana's Stamper has a considerable range advantage, but even it fears an 𝗦𝗏 rushing it down. Decavitator's Dash Slash is similarly stopped, and blasters like Range and S-Blast both get deleted without cover to hide behind. And if you're not a midline, 𝗦𝗏 just gets to outrange and bully you for free. 𝗦𝗏's first kit of Curling Bomb Tacticooler is often the one that gets played, but the second kit of Heavy Edit Nouveau with Splat Bomb Crab Tank has its own niches. Very underexplored yet still strong, it offers unique roll compression by having your team's Crab Tank be on a slower backline-ish weapon. While Splash and Splat Dualies are strong, they do often have to take backline positions for effective crabs. But Crab Edit just gets to click the right stick a lot of the time, and crab right where it's standing. And there isn't double backline overlap with something like Pencil. If you want to run Tacticooler, your options are more limited, but 𝗦𝘂𝘁𝗍𝗃 and 𝗫𝗏𝗏𝗍𝗵 are both great options. And while Coolerless is rarer to see from top-level players, Edit Nouveau is a great second crab option alongside Dualies or Splash to run 4 powerful specials and 4 space. So where does that ultimately leave Heavy Edit? Unfortunately, it's currently not seeing much success at top level, either in the West or Japan. But despite more competition, 𝗦𝗏 is still the same strong weapon it was a year ago. Even with the tougher matchups, it's always struggled into longer range weapons. While a buff would certainly help its viability, it can also benefit from more usage. More people to push the weapon and the unique comps it can enable over the standard double frontline plus support plus Snipewriter, and maybe more willingness to try Crab Edit and build around its unique strengths and role consolidation. Why doesn't 𝗦𝗏 get picked anymore? After the hype died down and the meta created tougher competition, it just isn't worth it to a lot of strong players, especially those who've sunk years into mastering Pencil. But part of it is because you haven't tried playing it. Especially for the vast majority of players not at top level, 𝗦𝗏 is a fun weapon with amazing strengths. I'm personally a believer and main Crab Edit because the dynamic ability to swap between midline and backline mode by popping Crab is something that no other weapon can do. Maybe you don't see it anymore in big tournaments, but I get to see it on my team a good portion of the time. So for the curious, try playing it. Both kits. You might enjoy it more than you thought. Big thanks to Basil and Cakes for chatting with me to better understand 𝗦𝗏's place at a top level. And if you made it this far, thank you too for watching. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Heavy Edit and what it might take to finally realize its potential. Hope to see y'all again!